The debate over mandatory food labeling will continue in New York, but employees at the co-op say that in the meantime, it's on the consumers to be more well-informed and educate themselves on the possible risks of GMOs. Hopefully the wind will be a little more tame on Friday for the walk that will take place here in Clinton Square. Moore says about 300 people are expected to take part, and that this is another move in the right direction to include men in the conversation about combating domestic violence. Temple Concord Rabbi Dan Fellman thinks that the incident at Emory this past weekend is just another example of the hate perpetuated by an issue halfway across the world. Junk food may be the most appealing option to some school-age children, but Warner says craving healthy food is possible. He says it's simple behavioral economics. You give them the food like an apple, they'll eat it and learn to adjust. Although the community may be smaller than most, Mrs. Livingston says she has worked with many transgender seniors here at Sage Upstate, where they are provided resources and support, many of whom have faced struggles most of their lives, struggles Mrs. Livingston knows all too well. But the Unitarians make sure that not one religion stands out ahead of the rest. They accept people of all denominations, even pagans. More than 25,000 people in the greater Syracuse community took part in the campaign last year. The week's events will conclude March 29th. A Cortland car dealer will be heading to jail for a year after pleading guilty to tax fraud. 47-year-old Joseph Feza pocketed $175,000 from customers, money that was meant to pay sales taxes. Brandon thanks. No further word has come from Syracuse concerning any other employees of the athletic department in Syracuse, but some sources with knowledge of the situation, including Keeley, believe this is just the beginning of changes in the department. I'm here outside St. Joseph's Hospital where 3 people remain hospitalized after a fire in an apartment building on East Willow Street. Syracuse firefighters responded within minutes of a fire breaking out in a rear bedroom of one of the apartment units. Terrorists launch an attack at a university in Central Africa. Our top story in News Around the World. Good evening, I'm Michael Valente. A university in Kenya is trying to recover after the attack today by Islamic militants. The assailants, linked to Al-Qaeda, struck the college campus with heavy gunfire and explosions. 147 people are dead, as many as 79 injured, and hundreds are still unaccounted for. Authorities killed the 4 gunmen responsible. Witnesses claim the attack was directed mainly at the school's Christian population. The second black box from the Germanwings flight that crashed into the French Alps has been located. Investigators hope that the recording will be able to shed more light about what happened on the aircraft. The plane's co-pilot is believed to have deliberately crashed the plane into the mountains. The numbers confirm that food insecurity is still very much a problem throughout the country, and central New York is no exception. According to census estimates, 31% of the population in Syracuse used food stamps within the past year. However, government assistance is often not enough. Food pantries offer those in need a respite.
He died when I was 18.
As the daughter of a World War II veteran, Nancy Austin experienced the realities of post-traumatic stress disorder up close.
It wore at him. My sister and my brother and I talk about the fact that my oldest sister, who's 11 years older than me, knew a different father than I did. You know, I knew somebody who was very short-tempered, could be mean, and drank a lot.
Lauren Love works closely with veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan at the Syracuse VA Medical Center, and she says that older veterans like Austin's father experienced many of the same symptoms, but suffered from a lack of proper care.
Combat is combat, war is war, but what's happened with the Department of Defense and with the VA is to provide a lot more education to the service members and the veteran on what those symptoms might be. One of the key features of the bill is a peer support program, where younger and older veterans can come to a VA medical center, offer support to each other, and share their stories. It's veteran to veteran. It's someone who may have had similar experiences to your own, but who can share with you how they struggled, what they did, what type of interventions maybe they sought out, and really some companionship, I think, for people who are beginning that struggle with their symptoms.
Austin encourages the young military members she works with to seek these interventions, steps that her father was never able to take.
I usually tell them about my dad, remind them that they have children. They don't want their children to realize 25 years after their father died maybe why he was the way he was. Get the help now.
The bill also offers financial incentives to medical professionals who offer help to the VA. Reporting live in the studio, Michael Valente, NCC News. Supporters of a measure to make food sales more transparent are holding 2 rallies in New York City today. In Syracuse, a food co-op is taking its own steps to part from genetically modified food. The Syracuse Real Food Co-op prides itself on its rapport with customers. A neighborhood place, the co-op serves as a spot for locals to learn about the food they're buying.
Everybody here has a lot of knowledge about the products that we're selling, and our customers like that a lot. Also, it's a little bit more convenient than like going to one of those big stores and it's a million people running around. It's crazy.
Biggest difference between a co-op and supermarket chain? Co-ops put emphasis on acquiring organic food, a standard Leah Rizzo says attracted her to make the transition from customer to employee.
Living here, it was a warm and inviting environment. The produce looks awesome. It looks better than anywhere else.
As a mother, Rizzo says she prefers to buy the more expensive organic baby formula, if that means she knows it's not being modified in a lab. But many mothers may not know where their food is coming from.
I think a lot of parents don't have the option to make that decision. Like, it's really expensive to get organic infant formula. I think it does have a place and it needs to be around.
The debate over mandatory food labeling will continue in New York, but employees at the co-op say that in the meantime, it's on the consumers to be more well-informed and educate themselves on the possible risks of GMOs.
A lot of bigger stores, you're dealing with huge amounts of product, so they probably don't have the resources to just like go through and meticulously do the research on everything. So it's a lot of times up to the consumer to educate themselves on what's really organic and what's not.
Wegmans supports voluntary labeling of food, but is not in favor of mandatory labeling. We're unsuccessful in our attempt to seek comment. Live in the studio, Michael Valente, NCC News. Big senior Raheem Christmas made sure of that. He struggled the last couple games, but not in this one as he delivers an emphatic slam that gives the Orange an early lead. A pretty feed from Ron Patterson here puts Rock in the spotlight again. He was feeling festive with 9 first-half points. His fellow captain Trevor Cooney, well, he was a different story. 1 for 9 from three-point range, including this miss, but Michael Benajay says no worries. He picks Cooney up with this momentous block that had Twitter buzzing. And he proves there's more than just that with the smooth touch near the basket. Coming up, NCC Sports takes an in-depth look into the Boeheim press conference. Meet Petman. This video comes from Boston Dynamics and shows Petman exercising to none other than push it to the limit. He can do it all, push-ups, running, leg exercises, and get this, he can even sweat. The project is meant to serve the U.S. military as a testing device for chemical protection clothing. Now, Shantae, it's a pretty remarkable story, but I know for me, I would not want to be running on a treadmill next to this thing.